Hi everyone, Scott Hathaway here from Pattern to Profit, and wanted to talk about setting up a vector circle in a relative charting environment. And this is one of the foundational geometric techniques that I use, where I'm going to set up a circle using a trend for the radius. So that I'm going to use this central low here in August of 99 at 253.80, and I'm going to unite it with the previous all-time high of 873 in January of 1980, and I want to set the vertical scale of the chart, the price-time ratio, literally how much price for how much time, usually 1 unit of time. And we're going to set it so that this trend from the high to the low is going to be seen at exactly 18 degrees, which would right now appears, well, like this. Let's see. I'm going to move it around and get it exactly at 162 or 18 degrees. Right now, currently, that angle looks like this, but that's not the angle the trend is set at because I don't have this price-time ratio set to anything. This is an auto scale fit. The more price I show, lower or higher, the more it's going to squash or expand just to allow all the price to be seen in here. So these angles are basically worthless, except that this is 162 degrees, 18 degrees, seen in auto scale. And so the fact that it's right by this high is practically worthless, unless we're accidentally at a ratio that has some meaning. So over here I'm going to show you 18 degrees and what it really looks like from horizontal. Here's 18 degrees up in here. It's part of 1/5 of an entire circle. The complement of 18 degrees, meaning what you would add to it to achieve 90 degrees, is 72 degrees. So 72 degrees is a big angle that I use. Some of you have seen my work before, read my articles, know that I'll set a lot of angles to 72 degrees. This is no different. We're going to set this as 72 degrees, but from vertical, 18 degrees from horizontal. And it's 1/5 of a circle. So in the big picture, we're going to see this whole chart from the perspective of this downtrend set at 1/5 of a circle from vertical. And so there's some structural fractional harmonic meaning to this. Also, if you look at this 18 degrees going up here, from the perspective of due south, which would be 270, if you started east at 0, many charting programs and angle functions do this, not Optima, it's no different. So I'll try to keep it all uniform. At 270, we go straight up, 90 degrees, and 18 more is 108 degrees, which of course is the internal angle of a pentagon. There are 5 angles of 108 each. And so we have a pentagon that would be formed this way and using the vertical line. And if we flip it up the other way, it would look like this. Now that would be 54 degrees right here, 108 degrees less than 162 degrees. And I'm showing you that because in a couple minutes that might get really, really, really interesting. I wonder what could possibly happen here. Anyway, yes, I'm baiting you completely. So here's what we're going to do. Maybe we'll just keep that there. To figure this out, we take the vector ratio, which is the amount of price per unit of time that it chugged along on average to get to the low. So you can use a calculator. If you have a measuring tool, by all means use it. I'll show you how to do this without one. Price of the high is $873. We will subtract the low, which is $253.80. And that means this traveled $619.2 of a range. And we're going to then divide it by 235 months, which is how many months it simply took to get from here to here. That's our vector ratio, 2.634, and I'll round that to a 9, 2.6349 points, dollars per month on average. That's the slope of it. And what I'm going to do is, over here I'm going to divide that by the tangent of the angle desired. In this case we want 18 degrees. And once we put that into the calculator, so we'll take this and we'll divide it by 18 tangent, and we get 8.109. We'll round the 3 up to a 4. I usually tend to stick to 4 digits, so 8.1094 over here. Points per month, dollars per month. And so what I'm going to do is take this, our golden ticket here, and I'm going to enter it into here. So 8.1094. Okay, now before I press return, I want you to look at this angle of 18 degrees set in auto scale, this meaningless situation. And now we're going to watch this proportionality go back down to here. Okay, and that should get smaller. Ready? Okay, So let's get rid of that because we don't need that. This is now perfectly 162 degrees. So it will still show the former angle until I just simply reset it. So put the magnet on. Boom. So put it right on the high, and it's exactly 162 degrees, or 18 degrees from 180. Okay, so now we've got something. These don't always come into form. When you change the vector ratio, some things change, some things stay the same. The circles stay the same, but these pentagons weren't too happy about it. So we'll get rid of those. And now what we're going to do is add the circle. So I want this to be the radius, where this is the center, and point is on the circumference. So we'll take the VCC, my vector concentric circles tool. Hopefully if you don't have Optima, you can have a tool that does something similar, or you jump on board. So we go right here, and oh hey, look at that. Cool. One of the things I love about geometric charting is not only do things correspond to it harmonically, relationships will be revealed, but how they deal with the geometry is very interesting. For example, here we had a little bullish upshift. The market didn't reverse exactly on it. It dropped, sure, but it came back up to test it again. Then it perfectly hit it, and now we get the massive drop. Compare the market reactivity in both cases, dramatically different. Sideways correction after a drop, back up, and now a massive drop. Okay, here, same thing. Hit it perfectly and went back down, but we don't have a massive drop. We have somewhat of a drop that resembles more of this proportionately. If you were in a log scale, you'd probably see those almost the same amount. And now we come back up to the circle, and here we go. We're out of the circle. So the market has now exceeded this relationship put forth over here. So we've set up the vector circle, and now you can use this as a basis for more geometry. Okay, so the setting up of the vector circle has been complete. This has been set up to be 1/5 of a circle. Okay, if we were to shrink this whole thing, you'd see this literally as 1/5 of a circle. Okay, just to show you a couple things you can do with this. When we had a pentagon over here, let's put that one back in. Okay, I'll try to get this perfect right over here. Okay, and we said that's 54 degrees. That is true. This is 3/5 of 90 degrees, 54 degrees. Okay, I'm going to show you what 54 degrees looks like. It's exactly where it hit this. If you set a pentagon up here, that's the corner that you would get in. Oh, hey, I've got that over here. So here's an enlarged view. Okay, and here's the pentagon right here, going right up to it in this corner of the pentagon is exactly where the market reversed. If you extend this upper right side of the pentagon straight down, you get shoddy resistance here, and you get a nice bottom here. What's really nice is if you take this pentagon and give it a little push and it rotates, it would actually get a little larger if you were to proportionally do it so that it came all the way to here. It actually grows a little bit in size, and that's okay. Look what happens to the right corner. Straight down. So this is actually a Fibonacci function. Remember, 5 is the crucial number of the Fibonacci number series because it's the only number there is to actually derive the proper Fibonacci ratio. You have to use the square root of 5. And that's something for another lecture, but 5 is intricately related to the Fibonacci series, and the Fibonacci ratios are all over a pentagon. Read my first article in MTA, Technically Speaking, the newsletter. It was on pentagonal analysis, and you'll see that you could derive this using Fibonacci ratios from here to here. So it's a little redundant, but it's nice to see it geometrically, and you'll see this meets right here. Also good to note that the market actually exceeded this shape, and we're now outside of that. We're outside of this, we're outside of that, and to make matters even better, what happens if I go 45 degrees straight down? Since we're just having fun with the basic setup. 45 degrees down, it's 315 going southeast. There's your perfect top, resistance, and we have now exceeded that over here. And that's pretty nice. But that's not enough for me. I have to actually say, well, what's the history of this kind of concept? Let's put it here. Let's just simply go back here. Well, here we get the top, and then we get where the market broke free here, we got a massive uptrend. It looks like we're repeating this behavior right here. What if we then go over here? We get something very similar here. We broke through it and we identify this. So we've got massive uptrends starting right after the market deals with this line, and we just dealt with it again. Okay, so here we went up to it, topped here, corrected, broke through it here, hit it here, two hits over here, did the same thing, dropped, and now we've just come through it and we just broke above it. That's basically this activity. This is a larger repeat of this, all revealed from here because we did that. Cool, huh? So we're setting up a circle in relative charting, but there's so much more you can do with it. It's not just about the circle. And let's do something else here. Take the circle and put the new center right there. I did this on a dollar monthly chart that you might have seen in our research. Very similar activity actually, except the dollar in this setup actually broke it here the second time it hit it, and has been dropping now, except gold broke through here but decided to come back up and said, no, I'm not going to do that. Goes right through here, and we're just riding up into the circle here. So this bottom is perfectly harmonic with these tops. And to make matters even more interesting, if you take 54 degrees, okay, there's nothing crazy here. This is just math. It's just numbers. And I'm just going to divide 54 in half. Let's just cut all that in half. All right, sound good? So I'm going to cut in half. I'll use a dashed line. And what happens when we cut in half? Oh, hey, look at that. So this activity here is exactly half of this activity. It's all related. It's all perfect just by simply setting this trend at 1/5 of an entire circle. The whole market is revealed. I am a little interested in seeing what happens here. Expect maybe a smaller correction if we don't just blast through the circle. But overall, this is a bullish picture. So interesting stuff. And that's setting up a vector circle in relative charting. And look out for some more work we'll be doing in this kind of environment. And thanks for watching.